I had to zoom out a little bit, I think. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Foundry. We were doing a little bit of pre-gaming before we jumped on here, so sorry we're late. This week, I think we're going to talk about the mental game of business ownership. For those that don't know, my name is Brian. Um, I run a marketing agency that I'm shutting parts of it down and opening up my own content studio for business owners called the Media Room. And I want to teach you guys how to start making your own videos because your video that you shoot with your iPhone or little pocket camera is going to outperform this person that has this $80,000 red rig or whatever. And I need you guys to understand that. So that's what my plan is. And if you're interested, hit me up. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name's also Brian. As you guys have known, we are the Brian and Brian. I also own a marketing agency, 531 Labs, and I am a little bit different than most people. I work with, I have a very small team on the back end that we come into businesses, and we're tired of seeing people run on duct tape and hope, right?
Hmm.
So we come in, kind of figure out the problems in your business, both marketing and operations wise, and we implement systems to fix those things to level up your business. Um, yeah, that's kind of it.
And what we have, this is the Foundry. And with the Foundry, what we have is we have a school community where we teach you the real no bullshit version of being a marketer and marketing your business, and a lot of no BS operation stuff too. We condense the nonsense, we cut through the crap, we don't give you a bunch of hype and stuff that you're going to find online. Um, and that's what we're offering. So if you're interested, there's a QR code up in the corner. If I'm not mistaken, that's the QR code for that.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's also you should see it as as the first pin comment. Join the Foundry. We really, really want to blow this community out in a big way, and make it a valuable resource for people who are looking to learn how to do business the real way without any of the other stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
and to go a little bit deeper on it, to let you know what the Foundry is and what you get inside. You basically get 40 plus years of marketing experience from Brian
mhm,
and I. You get a community of like-minded individuals that are not there to kick the can. They're there to actually see results and move the needle in their business. Um, it's a new way. I don't see it being done anywhere else. I know there's courses and there's groups and there's school communities out there that help you with marketing that turn into a course with some Q&A or something on a monthly basis. That's not what we're doing. We're
mhm,
doing real world problems, real world issues. Some of it we're going to talk about today, that kind of
mhm.
the mental game of stuff. It's the stuff you deal with on a daily basis that you need to fix in your business to move the needle. The Our belief, and Brian can correct me if I don't want to speak for him, but we've had many conversations. My bel Our belief is that you're in business to make money, so you can eventually not work so hard, right?
Mhm.
I know I'm not articulating that well, Brian, but like maybe you can help me out here.
Yeah,
Where my point is that you want to own a business, but you don't want to just have a job that you happen to own,
right.
right?
And you don't want to have a job that you happen to own with an owner who's a lunatic because the owner is you, and you're
Mhm.
working 80, 90 hours a week and you feel like you've created a prison for yourself. And so the way you get around that is you build the systems and put the systems in place so that you're not having to spend as much time on the maintenance side of your business. It's operating and running the way it needs to, and you can focus on the things that will help you grow your business. And that's what the Foundry is. We're gonna have workshops. We do have some courses or whatnot. What we're not gonna do is sell you a go high level installation.
Right.
um, and that's something that a lot of marketers can't really say.
Mhm.
Now, we could tell you how to use it as a tool and deploy it as a tool, but us selling it to you and treating it like it's its own, like it's like you have a business now, that's not what we're going to do. And so that's the difference between what we're doing. These are what we are actual people that have done marketing for real businesses, big businesses, small businesses, businesses that are super established and brand new businesses. And so Again, no fluff, no BS. We're not we're not chasing trends or things like that. We view these as all tools to help you grow your business. So if you want to be part of the Foundry, you can go ahead and scan the QR code or click the link. If you like what we're talking about, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because we're trying to grow the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is going to be the place where you're going to see all of our Wednesday live streams. And so that's the place where you can follow us. So go ahead and go to the Foundry YouTube channel and check us out.
Yeah. And to be clear, these ones, this weekly Wednesday show is out for the public to see. So
Mhm.
it's our way to kind of get traffic to the Foundry. But in the Foundry, you'll get weekly
Yeah.
office hours, we call it, with us, that we sit and talk and discuss with community members about what's going on in their business, what kind of issues they're dealing with. And I am a real big proponent of this new consulting method that we came up with, where it's you have Brian and I there as top level mediators for the group, but there's also like-minded people, same industry, different industry, doesn't matter. And you can ask them a question. We're like, oh, I dealt with that 5 years ago, and I did XYZ to get past that. And it's just like that. You have a fix, right?
Yep.
That's the beauty and the value of that group consulting concept that we've kind of, in my opinion, I'm going to say this because I haven't seen it anywhere else. I
Mhm.
think it's unmatched
Yep.
personally, and obviously I'm biased, but
Mhm.
I can't find it anywhere else. I can't find anything that emulates that.
Yep.
So
Before you pay for a marketing consultant, before you go out and pay for a marketing consultant, join the Foundry and see if we can't answer your questions for you before you pay for a marketing consultant. And if you, at the end of the day, you still feel like you need to pay for one, me and Brian are available. We could absolutely take your business, or we could teach you on how to hire a marketing consultant that is right for your business and right for your industry. So
yeah,
that's what we got. Join, please join and subscribe. Give us a like if you're liking what we're talking about. Um, Today's episode, let's talk about the real mental game of being a business owner. There's a lot of hype out there. You're gonna see a lot of people, the old school Ty Lopez. She was saying old school like that was years ago. It
here
was
in my
years.
garage.
Yeah. Here in my garage with my Lambos, in this rented house with the money I bought off the fake money I bought off Etsy. Um, that's the kind of stuff that you guys have seen, the Shark Tank kind of stuff about business ownership. And that can be a component of it once you reach a certain level. I don't think it ever is where you're walking through. I've never really seen a real, actual, serious business owner go through his garage and show you all of his Lambos and use that as a framing device to talk about his success. More times than not, there are car enthusiasts. We know, there's one that we can go to every year if we wanted to. That's a business owner, that's a car enthusiast, and he has people out as a fundraiser. But it's not, here's my success, look at my Lamborghini kind of stuff.
Right.
Um, and so there's so much out there that is selling you the image of success. Um, and you can be just like this, and all you got to do is buy this course or you know do wake up and meditate in the morning, or what was it, have your morning routine, all the other stuff. There's other parts to this. There's more important things to business ownership than that stuff.
Yeah.
um
Uh,
and so that's what we want to talk about.
yeah. So they got all that stuff, and that's what they kind of preach to you online, and the gurus and everything about that Lambo lifestyle, right? But
Mhm.
nobody really ever tells you the truth about being a business owner. You know,
Right.
you'll hear stuff about time freedom and making money and working for yourself, and those are all parts of it. That's foundational stuff of why, you know, Brian and I don't want to go work for somebody, right? But what they don't tell you ever, nobody really wants to talk about it, is the pressure
Hmm.
every single day of knowing if you screw up, people might not eat.
Right.
Damn a Lambo.
Yeah.
What
Well,
about food on the table?
Well, and let's talk. I want to. Okay, I like this because let's put this on the autopsy table here. When you click on that video, and the first thing they show you is they're on the beach in Bali, working off of a laptop. What are they showing you? What are they? What are they selling to you? Selling you the image. You're
Mhm.
being marketed to. because they know that's the life you want. That's your aspirational life. And so if they can show you your aspirational life through their camera, whatever they sell you, they're hoping that your mind checks out and you start envisioning yourself in that seat in Bali or wherever. Um, and that's kind of what it is. That's why they want to show you the fancy cars and the drone shots and the women and all that other stuff. They're showing you all that stuff. It's a framing device. It's a marketing thing. And so when you see a lot of this content on there from an alleged business owner, they never say what they actually do. They never tell you
Right.
what they actually do. I've seen a few of them that you actually can look them up and there's public record of the businesses that they've, started and things along those lines. But a lot of these guys is like, this guy's 23 years old. He's 23 years old. He has a garage full of Lamborghinis. He has multiple houses, and that, guys, y'all, it sounds like it's not a real thing.
Yeah.
It's not like you could go to Hollywood and find young actors who have been in major motion pictures, like Dusty Rhodes used to say, major motion pictures. They have roommates. Like they're
Yeah.
NFL players who have multi-million-dollar contracts. I forgot what the young man who played for the 49ers. He has a roommate. He's a starter on his team. He has a roommate because he can't afford it. And so you're telling me that this 23-year-old guy with this YouTube following, that you've never heard of, you never
Right.
seen him before anywhere except on social media, and you haven't seen him for long, has Lamborghinis and condos and all other stuff. They're selling you the image. They're hoping that you invest in the image so they can sell you a course, because the course is how they funded that trip out to Bali and the rent a garage of Lamborghinis and the wad of money. So
Right.
just throwing that out there.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that doesn't get talked about, and let's talk about it. Maybe we can get past some of the stuff, and
Yep.
if anything, people can listen to this and have a little therapy, because that's kind of what it is for us as well. So, number one on the list is isolation. Right,
Oh gosh.
you're
Yeah.
isolated a lot as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. No one, and a lot of people, and I can't speak for everybody, but I know a lot of dudes like to keep things in.
Mm-hmm.
We're not good. We're not good with that. Um, you can't complain downwards, right? There's nobody to complain to. Your employees look to you if you have employees, or your
Mm-hmm.
family if you don't have employees. They look to you for the stability, right? Your spouse may not understand the business you're in, so you can't even talk to her or him about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your friends work jobs. I deal with this a lot, where sometimes, you know, I can't talk about a job like they can.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they're done, they leave and they clock out and they're done. Nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I can't relate,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't get turned off. So being a business owner, entrepreneur gets lonely fast.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to talk anything about isolation,
Oh yeah,
move
because
on.
I want to talk a little bit about specifically talking to your friends and family about running your business. Because as a business owner, you have a very unique perspective on life. And Brian knows how this works too. When you first start being the business owner, and in order to pivot into being successful, making it sustainable, there are some mental things switches that you have to flip in your mind. You have to move out of being the consumer mind to the producer of things. You have to stop living out of your own pocketbook and judging how you charge people based on your pocketbook. There's a lot of things that you have to pivot away from. And oftentimes, as the business owner, when you talk to people who aren't business owners, they don't understand it because they only see one aspect of it. If they need a product or service, they go buy the product or service, and then that's the end of their relationship. They don't have to worry about fulfillment. They don't have to worry about customer service. They don't have to worry about pricing. They don't have to worry about the position that your pricing actually puts you into. Are you a luxury product? Or you're not a luxury product? Or you're a commodity? All these other things that a business owner has to think about. And so a lot of times when you sit down and talk to people who aren't business owners about some of the mental gymnastics you have to play on a daily basis, and the other, not being able to put it down some days, and you're just working because that's what relaxes you. because not working gives you anxiety. Um, these are all things that a lot of times business owners carry to and keep to themselves, and you can't necessarily go to talk to somebody who hasn't experienced it on some level.
Right. That rolls into number 2, which is the I mean, you kinda spoke to it, constant uncertainty,
Hmm.
right? Will this deal close? Am I making the right pitch? You know? Can I make payroll for these people that need to feed their families?
Hmm.
Did I make the wrong decision there for XYZ? You know? Is any of this even working? Do I wanna keep doing this? Right? Employees get to clock out mentally, owners don't,
Yeah.
ever.
Well, and the payroll thing, the thing about the payroll is you will go to jail. Like you, like
$100%.
it's not, oh, they're going to quit if I don't make payroll. You can go to jail if payroll is messed up. And so these are high level concerns. And so you have to dwell in that uncertainty, even when you build the basis to be certain, even when you've built your green pasture and it feels certain. There's always clouds. Wait a minute. This product, the tariff just went up on this. Where am I going to source this stuff? Oh, they sent me a batch of defective things. How many of those got built into the thing that I make, the doohickey that I'm selling? Oh, I'm going to have to do
Right.
a recall on this. There's all kinds of things, anything that can destabilize you. And so you have to manage the uncertainty. You have to constantly get comfortable. You have to constantly get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah. 100%. So to that point, like say you own some sort of construction thing, you feel good about the year, you've booked a lot of stuff out for the year, you got all these projects lined up, the year looks pretty good on paper.
Hmm.
All of a sudden tariffs or whatever, something happens to an industry and the price of lumber triples.
Yeah.
Now your projects and everything don't look so great. You got to either eat the cost, which is highly unlikely for you to be
Hmm.
able to sustain. You have to contact all the customers and say, "Well, the price of everything just went up, so your price just went up. You they could dump you, right?"
Yeah.
So those are kind of stresses that nobody thinks about. Uh, nobody talks about.
Yeah.
Business owners think about it every every 10 seconds. You know what I mean?
Right.
And rolling into our next point, obviously these points all roll into each other, but like decision fatigue, the amount of decisions as a business owner or an entrepreneur you make on a daily basis is astronomical.
Yeah.
Hundreds, thousands, marketing decisions, hiring decisions, pricing decisions, strategic decisions.
Yeah.
Most most people are checked out by, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning, noon maybe,
Right.
right? And you can talk on decision fatigue a little bit too, because I know you and I deal with this a lot, where it's like the only answer sometimes is to just come to it tomorrow. Come
Yeah.
back to it.
Well, come to it tomorrow. The other side is task priority and things like
Mhm.
that. As the business owner, you don't have anybody standing over you saying this is what you need to have done by the end of the day.
Oh God, 100%.
This is the thing that you need to, in order to do this, you got to do this. And this is what I want you to focus on. You make those decisions on a daily basis. And more times than not, as business owners, when the stress really gets on top of you, you gravitate towards the things that they may not be easy, but they're the things you know how to do. And a lot of times, oftentimes, you end up leaving the things that actually will move the needle for you alone because those require a different set of processing. And so it's easy to lean into the things that you know how to do, um, as opposed to, all right, let me go and do this thing I don't like that I'm uncomfortable with, even
Mhm.
though I'm already stressed. And this thing is going to grow my business and allow me to have a great fourth quarter, but it's tough and it sucks. And so I know how to do this other thing that I don't like to do, but at least I know how to do that. This other thing I got to figure it out. And so you constantly get into this, what task is the most important? What task is my priority?
Mhm.
Um, and like it's super easy to fall into that, y'all. And this is a quick thing that I've done where I will pop open my phone and whatever I know there's gonna be people that, oh, it's a waste of the AI resources, whatever. Here's what I'll do. Open up my phone, push the little talk thing, and dump everything that I need to do and what I need to accomplish for the day into whatever AI model. And it used to be, before it was AI, it was like your Google Assistant or whatever.
Right.
Um, and I would say, give me my first task. Tell me the first thing I need to do. That's the only way. Sometimes that's all I can do because I'm overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do and I need to do, but I don't know where to start.
Just to have somebody else say it.
Yeah. It's a benefit sometimes of having a supervisor that says, all right, this is what you got to do today. These are what your tasks are. Um,
Yeah.
and oh, get a checklist. Listen, I'm I'm really good at making checklists. I am amazing at creating a new checklist for myself. Um, Executing everything on that checklist is another story.
Right.
But that's the game.
It is. And the lie, let's talk about the lie that everybody tells themselves because of all this stuff, right? So most business owners that struggle with this kind of stuff, if I just work harder, things will get easier.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And I'm not going to say hard work doesn't help. Hard work helps, but getting clear and having that clarity
Mhm.
beats effort every single time. I cannot tell you a moment when something became clear to me of what needs to be done. I cannot tell you that that didn't uh, push me forward or push the business forward every
Yeah.
single time. Most
Yeah.
owners don't have clear systems, clear priorities, clear growth drivers. They have these meaningless, not meaningless, but they have these um, arbitrary goals they've set up. I want to make X amount of money with no path to get there,
Yeah.
right? So they grind randomly. I do this all the time. I grind randomly.
Mm.
I need to be putting out video content, and I've been um, analyzing and trying to develop a perfect system for you know 6 months now. So I'm not immune to this
Yeah.
in some aspects of my business, and there's some things that came clear to me in the last few days, last week, that have pushed me where I've have some clips done. I just need to get more done so I can put the video together, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, right? And
Yeah.
clarity brings that to people, and that's what that's kind of what I do for people. It's funny
Mhm.
because I don't do it that well for myself, but walking into someone's business, I can give them clarity. And that's what Brian's saying. You sometimes, even talking to AI, you just need someone else to say to you, take this first step.
Yeah. Well, the 80/20 thing is a real thing. And I don't think people understand, like, it sounds simple, but it can really get complex when you try to apply it to your business. But the 80/20 thing is you make 80% of your income on 20% of your tasks. And sometimes it's 17, I can't do the math right now. 17 9 or 1783.
There you go.
So um
I
you
had
know
I was getting there with you, but
and so, but there's a limited number, like there's a certain number of tasks that drive most of your income. And the hardest part is staying in that small percentage, because when you stay
mhm,
in that small percentage, you feel like there's so much left to be done. You're leaving so much on the table. But I promise you, and I got to get into my small percentage work, because when I'm doing the small percentage work, that's when the money is flowing in and I can hire people and outsource the 80%. Um, I have to get into the small percentage work, because otherwise I'm gonna drive myself crazy.
yeah,
And I think oftentimes, and I'm guilty of this too, where I try to optimize and build the system. I'm doing this with my studio right now. Like, I'm trying to optimize and build the system before I even taken in the client in the door, to
right,
figure out, okay, so I build out this process. Does this process actually hold up against the waves of reality, you
right,
know? And so I'm trying to optimize for something I've never experienced before. I've had a studio before, I've done it before, but not in this venue. And so tomorrow I'm actually going out physically to my studio location, getting set up and get stuff started and start moving stuff around and figure it out, because I've been sitting at home trying to plan it so it
mhm,
goes seamlessly. and there's no way you can optimize for something that you've never experienced before.
Right. So,
And
what you're getting at is that small percentage that working in that 20% or that 15% um, is actually doing the work, right? And
yeah.
we all want systems and stuff because you need to mitigate risk. You don't want to just be flailing randomly out there, right?
Mhm.
So let's talk about how we can kind of fix some of these things and kind of the mental shifts going along this same line that we're talking about right this second. So we
Okay.
want to shift doing that 80% work. We want to shift
Mhm.
from doing that to thinking we want to build a machine that does that work, right? So I'll give you an example of, instead of thinking, how do I post more on social media? You think to yourself, how do I build a system that produces content every week?
Right.
So instead of how do I answer every customer message, you think to yourself, how do I build a system that handles customer service as automatically as I can? So and I don't want to speak for you, Brian, but it's kind of what Brian's talking about. I think
Mhm.
is he's done a little bit of the planning, but now he's kind of worked up a machine. Now he needs to go put that machine into the business and start it up and let it run. Then you
Mhm.
start fixing shit.
Yep.
Then you start figuring out what's broken. You're not going to know the real life scenario until you put that system into place.
Yep. And my 20% is the ask. Is asking, okay, if this service aligns with you, if this aligns with you, go ahead and do X, Y, and Z. Go ahead and the ask and the call to action is my 20 work. That's the thing that returns the most for me. This year, everything I've asked, every time I've asked and made a pitch to somebody, I've landed it. I just don't do it enough.
Hmm.
And um, it's not anything bad that's happened or anything, but I've had a pretty successful streak of when I make the big ask, I get the big ask. But
Right.
I don't spend enough time asking. I spend too much time planning uh, and overthinking it instead of just saying, "This is what I have for you. Does this match your needs? Yes. Then this is how much it's going to cost." I don't spend enough time in that place
Yeah.
because it's an uncomfortable place for me. And Brian will tell you, most marketers will tell you, marketers are terrible at marketing themselves, almost
100% we are.
to a person. That's why a lot of these marketing agencies have salespeople because you let the salesperson go out and hunt and go. They love that kind of stuff. Marketers, we like systems, we like the communication side of it. Message in the machine, we like either operations or I like crafting the message. I don't like the hunt of going out hunting down the person that's going to buy. And
Right.
that's where my 20 work is.
I'm the same way where I can delay for no good reason other than I don't know some minimal fear of denial
Mhm.
uh, that someone won't take the proposal. I delay putting proposals out way longer than I should.
Yeah.
You know, I got two on the docket now that I probably should have done Monday, and they're going out today. But that's my point is I delay that for no reason.
Yeah.
No reason other than I can only assume it's just some weird feel of rejection or whatever, you know? Um, so let's get into some of the steps maybe that owners and operators and entrepreneurs should take to make kind of what we're talking about, make it practical.
Yep.
So step one, um, while you're watching this, like write down three things that actually grow your business. Not that 80% Brian's talking about, not the busy work, not
Yeah.
admin tasks, not, you know, the true drivers. Example, like leads, conversions, repeat customers. Those are the three things that drive my business, right? Most owners don't even know what these are,
Mhm.
right? So that's one step you can take. You want to
More
get into step, or you want to talk about that? You can go for
I'll
it.
do it and then I'll go to the next one too. And more times than not, that those three things are going to be the things you don't like to do.
100%.
They're going to be the things you avoid the most. Almost to a business to a level of most business owners, the things that grow your business are the things you also don't like to do the most. But they're the things that are vital for you to do and say. So step two is remove the noise. Business owners do way too much. Um, and it's very hard to stop doing something that you know how to do that doesn't improve anything for you. Um, and so you got to ask, if I stop doing this, would my revenue change? I've been in that position where I've asked, why am I doing this? This doesn't make any money and I hate it. And putting that thing down, I put it down and it wasn't even a relief for me. It was just, okay, now I didn't even think about it. It was so non essential to what I was doing that when I dropped it, I didn't even feel relief. Like it was just, it's something
Yeah.
else I don't have to do anymore.
Let me give you yesterday as a prime example. You want to see ADHD and this mental issue on a
Mhm,
whole nother level. I created because I'm trying to plan my first video, my launching video of my YouTube channel, right?
mhm,
I built a whole interface for 531 Labs. It's its own YouTube studio where I can go from planning on a document or with Chat GPT or whatever. I can copy and paste that into my YouTube studio. It will lay out all the shots I need. It will lay out the segments of the video I need to shoot. It'll do all that for me. And that sounds great, right?
mhm.
And probably a useful tool for many people, including myself. But it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Just turn, Brian, you want to say it? Just turn the camera on.
Just hit record and start talking. That's literally the pitch for pitch for the media room. I was sitting down here and I was sitting there looking at my camera. I said, "What the hell?" And I just pushed record and did it. It was the perfect segment that I needed. We can over engineer this stuff really easily, and then by the time you get to the point where you're ready to actually take action, you've already drained all the creative energy that was going to make that thing special.
100%.
So if the answer is if you stop doing this thing and revenue doesn't change, the answer you got to kill it. Like you got to stake it through the heart and move on, because oftentimes that is the albatross. It's the feeling is being busy instead of doing actual work. And I used to be a state caseworker. I know exactly what that is. It's feeling busy instead of doing actual work.
100%. Step three, in this kind of three-step little fix to actually, you know, take to make what we're talking about practical is build a simple system.
Hmm.
We talked about, follow-ups and leads and stuff like that. Build a simple system for one of these. I'll give you an example here. So build a simple system for customer follow-up, how you're going to reach out, how if that's one of your problems or one of your bottlenecks in your business. For a lot of brick and mortars around here, around well, anywhere in local businesses, review generation. Build a simple
Hmm.
system. That is such a simple system someone can build for their Google business profile. We talked
Hmm.
about that a few weeks ago. Build a simple system. Find out how to design a QR code and put it at your register. You're right.
Hmm.
Uh, Figure out a referral system. Do you got a way to in your business? Is there a way to ask for referrals from past clients, friends, wherever? And then capture leads. Build a simple system for that. A lot of people already have that system. Talked about this last week. You have a POS, you have a lead capture system already. You just don't even know it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I know people personally that have 10,000 contacts that they've never touched. They didn't even know they didn't. I mean, they knew, that they were capturing these things when people put it in the system, but they didn't think about, oh, that I can hit that list again.
They didn't know what to use it for. You
Right.
know,
So develop a small, just simple, write it down on a napkin if you want, right? And a little tiny thing can make an impact to your business.
if you need content, like if you're like, I got to start recording content, this is the system. You steal this one. Find a place where you can sit down and have a camera set up and a decent little light. Turn on the camera and start talking. You pick 1 hour a week, one day a week, for 1 hour, and you just talk to the camera about whatever your business or product is or whatever your industry is. You do that enough, There's plenty of services out there where you can take that clip of you talking about what your product or service or industry is. You can drop that clip in there and it will chop it up into stuff that you can post on TikTok and Reels and wherever else. It's a simple system. Make recording as simple as possible for yourself and make it an appointment thing. On this day, this is when I get online and talk about my thing. This is when I record my thing. That is the simplest way to set it up. Oftentimes people overplan this stuff. Find a time where you can hit record and sit down and talk to the camera about what you know. And you'll figure it out going forward. But at least you've put yourself out there as the expert. Specifically, I'll throw this out here for people that want to be in thought leadership positions and stuff like that, where you're trying to get on the speaking circuit. You're not going to sit there and business plan your way into the speaking circuit. You actually have to put your thought leadership out there so
Yeah,
people can see you.
that's your
And
product.
yeah, your knowledge is your product. You have to constantly blast it out there, even if nobody's watching, even if you feel like you're yelling into the void. Do it because somebody somewhere shows up. I have videos on here where I'll be live streaming and they'll say 0 the entire time, and I go to YouTube and I've added 5 subscribers. So
Yep.
get out there and record the thing, do the thing, and find the simplest way to execute the thing. Um, the thing, I'm a weightlifter. I do powerlifting and stuff. One of the guys I follow is Mark Ripito. His thing is the minimum level of complexity to get the task done. That's how he structures all his weight, all his training programs. 3 sets of 5. Add 5 pounds every time you go into the gym until you can't add 5 pounds anymore. That's his system.
Minimum effective
Straightforward.
dose. Yeah.
Yeah. Minimum level of complexity. He's like, you don't make your workout more complex until it has to be more complex. You
Right.
don't make your process more complex until it needs to be more complex. All right,
I'm
go
gonna.
ahead.
I was just gonna say we can kind of finish and wrap this up with um, the kind of hard truth, and this might hurt feelings, but it's
Mhm.
the hard truth that most business owners, most entrepreneurs avoid. Right? It's not for everyone. Owning a
No.
business, entrepreneurship, it's not for everyone.
Mm-mm.
It's not because you're not smart enough. It's not because you know you 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 know your product's crappy or whatever. It's you know responsibility of being a business owner is heavy, heavy, heavy shit.
Yeah.
You can't blame a boss. You can't blame corporate up above you. You can't blame HR. You can't blame the market.
Hmm.
Eventually, every single time, it comes back to you, and you say to yourself, did I build the right system, or did I post the right thing? Did I whatever? That's the game.
Yeah.
That's what entrepreneurship is. Some of us thrive off that.
Yeah.
Some people don't. And we just talked about all the struggles that go with it. Um, it's exactly why we built the foundry,
Yeah.
right? Because we found, and Brian and I are in our local city chamber, and we
Hmm.
found that there's so many. I mean, they have 300-400 businesses in the chamber, and
Hmm.
there's so many people that they can't afford consulting on the level that Brian and I can, eventually provide, bigger companies.
Hmm.
Um, so we're kicking our brain and going like, what? Because we're in business too to make money. Like, let's not
Right.
pull any punches here. I want to make money too. So how can I sell these people something that they can actually afford? It's not that they couldn't have value from you know $5,000 a month retainer. They'd get extreme value from that, but it's not something they can handle or can do.
They can't do that. They can't do that level of arbitrage where you trade $5,000 to make $10,000. Like they're not.
Right.
They don't have the $5,000 to put in.
Exactly. So that's where the foundry was built off of is $97 a month, $1,000 a year. That's I mean, one fix in your business should be able to make that money back.
Hmm.
I can't even tell you in a week, in a 2 weeks. I don't want to put a exact time on it, but
Uh,
hell, if we find a problem that's a money making problem and we implement a solution to it,
Mhm.
It's not even a wash. You should move the needle 10 times, um, the $97 a month
$97 a month for consulting that we normally charge $3,500 for.
or more.
And we're not discounting it, you're getting it all. The reason why we're doing this is because we wanna change the way that that consulting is done. We want it to be a community-driven project where business owners help business owners, and then you're kind of led by experts in the specific thing that you're trying to do to get better. I'd rather do that because I think that there's more benefit in the networking aspect, interfacing with other business owners. Um, I do want to jump back one thing, Brian. You mentioned
Yeah.
this. This may not be for everybody. Entrepreneurship may not be for everybody. It's just like investing, right?
Mhm.
Um, I've had somebody ask me to teach them investing, and I kind of told the story before, but the side I didn't tell was the question I asked them is, are you willing to spend all your time doing all the research on an investment, put your money, and this was stock market stuff, put your money into dollar cost average your way into this and build your position out. Once you get that set up, are you prepared to sit there and watch it go to 0 and not pull your money out? Are you prepared to watch this $10 stock you bought go down to $3 a share? If you're not, then you're not ready to do this game. You're not ready to play this game because that's where the money is made. The people that don't blink when the thing go when the bottom falls out and it drops down to it goes from $10 to $2. And they said, "Oh, well, it's $2. I need to buy more because it's at a discount. I'm gonna
Mhm.
put more money into the game because I know the game is gonna work. I know I'm gonna win eventually." If you're not mentally prepared to do that, you can't do that. And it's kind of the same thing with business. Are you prepared for the lean months? Are you prepared to see your opportunity in the setbacks? If you're not prepared to do that, this ain't for you. This is not the right game for you. It's not the right vehicle for your success. Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody,
No.
and
And then go ahead.
it's not even about disqualifying anybody or putting anybody down. But if you're used to if you require a steady paycheck to sleep at night,
Yeah, it's not for you.
it's not
It
for
it's
you.
it's up and downs. But to that same point, we're not telling you that you can't do it. If you if what Brian's saying makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you're like, "I do want those things. I need those things," and you still have this fire somewhere in you,
Mhm.
that's where you need to realize that you need someone to help you shift mentally
Guide you.
because you can not be cut out for it mentally right now, but there are ways to learn how to be cut out for it.
Mhm.
Anybody can change. We can flip the mental part of it, but it's hard. That's what we're getting at. It's hard, um, hard AF,
Yeah.
right?
So
And
pay
go ahead.
$97 a month. Get in the foundry. If you have any interest in it, you want real talk from business owners.
That's the other thing I wanted to touch on. I've had a couple people interested, but they want to learn more about it. So you're going to hear more, you're going to see more, and we'll get more information out there. But one of the questions I've gotten, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you, Brian, yet about this is, well, why is it so cheap? It seems really cheap. Two things. One, it's not going to be that cheap forever,
Mm-mm.
right? Um, two, uh, it's it's an entry point for businesses to learn marketing at a super high level that they can afford. Like it's
Mhm.
just the reality of it. We've done our due diligence and research on what we think people can afford and what sounds good. Is it
Mhm.
making me and Brian $1 million?
Mm-mm.
No, absolutely not. Are we doing it out of the goodness of our heart? A little bit, but it's 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 a means to an end for us, right?
Mhm.
Uh, whether it's bigger, people graduate from the foundry to personal clients between Ryan and I, or whether it just brings us awareness, right?
Yeah.
Because we're just this is a marketing vehicle for us, but there is a little bit of us that's like, how do we help people? I mean, we're not assholes out here,
Yeah. Well,
but
and
the
then
reality is we're all in business to make a bag. That's what we want to do.
Well, and then here's the thing, it's $97 a month, and I'll be as transparent. The pricing allows us to bring people in so that they can help us build this out so that we can make it the most benefit to business owners. And then
Mhm.
once we get to that point where we feel like this is this where it's narrowly lasered in on, we've had a good number of test clients come in and experience it and get outcomes. The price goes up to it is going to go up, but we have to get the people in so they can experience the value, see the value, and be quite honest with you. For some of y'all, it's going to be a good trade off to pay $97 as opposed to going out and hiring this consultant who's going to charge you $5,000 a month. It's a better investment because we're going to take $97 that you do have that allows you to put gas in your tank and food on the table, as opposed to taking $5,000 that you have to borrow. um, we'd rather bring you in the community and help you guys help us build it out to be the high value thing that you need it to be. That's why $97 price point is a test price. See what the market will bear and maybe help some people along the way. And once we get, our first 10, 20, 30 people in there, price is going up.
Yeah,
um,
and that's just the reality. And again, it's not to we're not devaluing the experience that you'll get in there. It's a no bullshit thing. It's not
yeah.
You're not going to get in there and Brian and I or anybody in the community is going to give you, um, you know, all your social media posts for free and you just give them to you and post them for you or whatever. We're going to push people to put in the work that they need to
Hmm.
put. It goes back to last week's episode where we get you out of that maintenance mode and understand that, listen, we can make your life less stressful. We can
Hmm.
make you have and make your business more money with these systems, these processes, and these experiences that we both have and people in the community will have. And
Hmm.
that's what you should be focusing on. That's why we can charge $97 a month, because that group think, that group community thing. And it's just a more efficient way for people in that season of their business to move their business forward. I would
Right.
love for every person in the foundry to graduate out of the foundry, eventually become full-blown clients of mine or Brian's, and own multiple businesses. That's
Yeah.
my goal in life. I want to own five, at least five businesses total, if not more, all making money, where eventually I get to a point where I'm just checking in
Yeah.
to see, make sure all the systems are running properly and they're well oiled.
I
That
want to
should
get.
be most people's goals, in my opinion. I'm not saying you have to have 10 businesses, but
Mhm.
be able to own something that you don't have to stress every minutia of the details.
Yeah. My goal is to actually have, be one of those angel investors. Like, I want to get to that point where I'm helping
100%.
businesses I believe in with capital, and it's not me extracting a heck of a whole lot of value. It's me adding value to them and not pulling anything out. Here's the reality, y'all, and this is the other side. Um, don't let the people that are asking why is it so cheap cost you your opportunity to get almost 40 plus years of marketing experience for $97 a month.
Yeah.
Because if we get those questions enough, that's feedback for us. The market is saying we want the service, but we want to pay more for it. That means that the price is going to go up. I don't know if any of y'all watched The Wire, but there's a very specific phrase that Marlo Stansfield uses. The price of a brick just went up. That's kind of what's going to end up happening. And so if you're on the fence about it, you might want to jump in there, because this is the way we're going to be doing consulting moving forward. Like, and I think if we get this started, once we get this thing rolling, we're going to start seeing other marketers kind of follow suit,
Mhm.
where they're like, I don't have to go out here and do this. I'd rather help, have a community of people that help each other. And I
Yeah.
can provide high level guidance and stuff like that. But the community is helping each other out. And so
Yeah.
that's what it is.
And the beauty about this model, let me tell you something real quick. So if you're one of the founding members coming in, you're going to get what you get as a value for your 97 is not only everything we talked about, it's also you get more one-on-one time
Yeah.
with us. And the beauty of this model is that organically it transfers. So you're like, well, what happens when a lot of people join? That's the beauty.
Hmm.
Now there's more people, there's more groupthink, and there's more value in that. So it is an organic model that changes for the value that members get through time. From the beginning to the end, it's only going to increase in the value it brings you,
Yep.
right? That's the beauty of it. So I'm super excited about it. I know Brian's excited about it. You'll be hearing much more about it, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to sell it. We're going to pitch it, and I'm not afraid to say that anymore, right?
Yeah. Let's get in
Um,
there. Let's make it
let's
happen,
get
y'all.
out there.
We're
Let's
waiting
get
for you
into the
guys.
topic.
So, all right, that's all. That's all I got. Brian, do you have anything else?
Nope. I just say click the QR code, scan it, do whatever you do. You can also go to skool.com/foundry
Hmm.
if you want to type it in manually and you don't like doing QR codes.
Yep. And we will see you guys in the Foundry. Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Talk to you later.
See you, everybody. Peace.